WKRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray. And good morning. Welcome to day 2 of the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti along with Nick Proietti. We're going to head right to the phones because we have our first guest join us, a longtime friend of the Pro Show. We're going to talk with Kevin McGlue, who is the voice of the Colorado Eagles. Yeah, right down the road, the slippery road, I-25 in Loveland. Kevin, so nice to talk with you. Happy New Year. And, boy, it's hard to believe that your guys' season is just about halfway through already.
It's amazing. I mean, it really, really is. It's incredible how quickly it goes. You know, you wait all off season, and it seems like it takes forever, and then you get here, and boy, now all of a sudden you're getting into mid-January. So it's been an exciting season, and I think that you're starting to see some of the young prospects really start to blossom, and you see guys that rise into the forefront that have had a chance to play with the Avalanche, and I guess that's all kind of equated to the season moving along pretty quickly.
You know, this division that the Eagles are in, you want to talk about a top-flight division on any given night. Boy, I'll tell you what, it is no different than the big clubs division. Yeah,
it really isn't, and you look at what kind of the cream of the crop has been, and I think that certainly includes Colorado. You look at Coachella Valley, and that's a team that just has not had to utilize a lot of players, and they've kept their core intact. They haven't had a lot of call-ups to Seattle, and they're in first place. You look at Calgary, they're nipping at their heels. They've got guys on that Calgary team that could easily be playing for the Flames right now, but again, they haven't run into a lot of injury issues. Their depth has been really good, and they've got some great young players that have been complemented with some outstanding veterans. And then I think Colorado really is in that mix, and what makes the Eagles unique this season is I think the fact that they have had to utilize a lot of players. They have had to dip into the ECHL and call up guys from the Utah Grizzlies. And at one point you had 6 guys who were up from the ECHL, and during that time, Colorado won 7 straight games. And it's just, I think, been a terrific job of guiding this team, coaching this team, and the way that they have managed this roster in light of all the injuries, all the call-ups, the illnesses that have popped up. It's been impressive, and I think long-term it's going to pay some real dividends for Colorado.
Kevin, in your opinion, as we talk standings, as you mentioned, Coachella Valley at the top, again, looking at Calgary, the Wranglers above Abbotsford as well, too, in that third spot there in the at least Pacific Division. Colorado Eagles sit in the 4th spot. Standings-wise, is that a little surprising, especially with Coachella Valley at the top? Again, an expansion team, again, part of the Seattle Kraken franchise. Again, standings, are they a little surprising to you, or kind of what you expected as things kind of shape up here in the 2022-2023 season?
I think we all thought that Calgary would be pretty good, very good. And they were good last year when they were still in Stockton before they moved up right next to their home club in Calgary. And, they had a lot of really good pieces that were coming back to that lineup. They're very well coached. And that to me is not a huge surprise. Coachella Valley, I think everybody was just kind of waiting to see what they would look like and how much of that team would be youth, how much of that would be bringing in some veteran experience. And I think they've really gone sort of the latter route and brought in some really good established AHL players that have been, again, complemented by some of their youth. But that's just been a team that, again, I think was assembled really well. They haven't run into a lot of call-ups. That can be, the bane of any AHL team's existence, is all of a sudden the injuries up top have a massive trickle-down effect, and that can really cause some issues. You look at Colorado. They've utilized 35 players this season. You look at a team like Coachella Valley, they've played 24 players over the course of this year. So, it really helps you to keep that cohesion and to keep the consistency up and down the lineup. And again, I think that's what's all the more impressive with what the Eagles have done this year is the fact that they've had to juggle a lot. And they've done a lot of this through defensive play, through some outstanding goaltending. Jonas Johansson, third in the league in goals against average, third in the league in save percentage, and I really don't think there's been a whole lot of difference between he and Justus Annunen, who's also been outstanding this season. So, I think for Colorado, this has been done through some really good play in their own zone and some just, frankly, outstanding goaltending.
Glad you brought up goaltending again with those two of what they're doing with the Colorado Eagles. Again, really stepping up and kind of solidifying some of those victories this season for the Colorado Eagles. Move away from kind of defensive side, though. Let's look at offense again. Look at some of the top players that, again, could be future superstars moving up to the AHL with the Colorado Avalanche. But let's look at Foudy, look Hudon as well, too. Again, your top point getters, also, too, with goals so far this season. Just talk about those two of what they're doing for the offense for the Colorado Eagles this season.
Yeah, I think it really starts with Jean-Luc Foudy. Everybody wants to see, when you look at the AHL, who's going to be the next potential star in the NHL. And, right now when you look at this lineup, that's the guy. Jean-Luc Foudy's got 3 goals, 5 assists in his last 6 games, leads the team in points. He has 22 on the year. He's fresh off a game last Saturday in Tucson where he put up 2 goals and an assist in that victory. He's been outstanding, and he's only 20 years old. He was one of those guys that was able to come in during that shortened COVID season, and because of the exemption with the major junior leagues, he was able to come in as an 18-year-old rookie, which you just don't see really here in the AHL. And he's been here. This is now his 3rd season, but he's only 20 years old. He's finally made his way up to the NHL. He played 9 games with the Avalanche this year. I thought he assimilated to the NHL game really, really well. And each season, his progress has just been very, very noticeable, and the point production has come along with it. This season, it is very, very productive. And what he has done, he's a top-line guy now, and he's a guy that is one of the best skaters you're going to find in the American Hockey League. They really felt like they got a steal when they got him in the 3rd round, and they did, frankly. I think they'd got themselves a great, great value there in the 3rd round, and he's only going to get more mature. He's going to round out his size physically, and obviously he's got 3 years of experience as a 20-year-old. So I think if you're an Avalanche fan, you're looking at, who's that next guy that could be the Logan O'Connor or and Alex Newhook. To me, it's Jean-Luc Foudy, and I think that is the guy to circle. Now, you mentioned Udon. That was a guy that was brought in to replace a lot of goal scoring that you lost with the departures of Dylan Sekura and Kiefer Sherwood. You needed a guy with a proven track record to put the puck in the back of the net. That's what he did last year with Syracuse. It's what he's done throughout his career. He's a multi-all-star in the AHL. He's got 3 goals in his last 4 games. He leads his team with 11 goals now in the year. He's 28 years old. He's also spent a good amount of time up in the NHL with the Avalanche this year with their injuries. So that's a leadership type of a position right there, and a guy that you hope that they continue to carry over their production offensively from their previous stints in their career. And for Charles Udon, he has done just that.
Kevin, in all sports now, everybody's getting bigger, faster, stronger. And the Avalanche have had, their setbacks on injury. And then, of course, too, when they do the rehab, obviously they step into the Colorado Eagles franchise to, get back in shape and then get ready to go back to the big club. For Coach Cronin, is that kind of a little bit of a disruption? And I don't mean that in a negative sense, but he's got his line set up, and then all of a sudden we're bringing one from the big club in to do his time rehabbing. Does the flow get kind of disrupted when somebody comes down for rehab?
I think when you're looking at rehab assignments, and really the most notable one in the last year or so was Bowen Byram coming down and playing a couple of games with us last season. It's one of those things. It's obviously critical to get a guy ready, get him in game shape, have him exposed to game speed before he jumps back with the Avalanche. And I think you look at it and you say, what? At any point in the season, you probably got guys who are dinged up. So if you can bring someone in that can provide you a little bit of a spark, that's a proven NHL commodity, you take it. You take it for the time being. It's probably going to be just a handful of games. So again, I think it's just a constant state of disruption with rosters in the AHL. You got guys coming, you got guys going. You're sending players up to the Avalanche. You get them back. All of a sudden, you're having to send multiple guys down to the Utah Grizzlies. I mean, it's just been a lot of coming and going. And I think that's a tribute to the coaching staff, the way that they've been able to work and develop these players, but at the same time, manage defensive pairings and line combinations, and it's been impressive. And I think you looked at it and you said, boy, if you can kind of keep your head above water during this stretch where you have this many guys out of the lineup, you'd feel pretty good. Well, not only did they keep their head above water, they went 10-1-1 in November, and that was when they were in the midst of sort of the darkest of the dark when it came to injuries and the call-ups and all the trickle down from there. So, I think for Colorado, it's one of those things that you take a disruption if it means a guy that's going to bring a lot of skill to your lineup for a few games, because you're just used to disruption, and that's just the name of the game in this league, and it's just surviving that disruption that separates the teams that can make their way to the top of the standings.
Thankfully for the Eagles, again, sitting right now in that fourth spot, looking to go upwards in the standings there in the Pacific Division, as, again, still halfway, again, a lot more games still remaining on that schedule. Here we talk 2023. Again, Eagles started out on the road, again, whether it was Coachella Valley, Tucson, but we'll be back at home taking on the Rockford IceHogs. We'll talk about that series as well, too. Again, something special going on regarding the Colorado Eagles. But home attendance so far this season, Kevin, again, obviously with the Avs winning the Stanley Cup, hockey pretty healthy here in the Rocky Mountain region, and folks coming on down here from the Cap City, going on down to go see the Colorado Eagles there in Loveland. But attendance-wise, are we selling out this Budweiser Event Center every single night? Is attendance pretty healthy, especially with inflation, with costs, again, rising costs for everything? Are we still having a healthy attendance for home games this season?
Yeah, and I think those are always valid concerns for anybody in any industry, and certainly sports is no exception. But I think the value that fans see here in the ticket prices and the entertainment that they receive and the players, the caliber of hockey that they're seeing, I think they recognize that and appreciate that, and it's shown in our attendance this year. We've had 16 home games, and we've sold out all 16 of them. And we have 2 more this weekend. Those will both be sold out by the time they drop the puck. So we've been very, very fortunate. We have an incredible fan base that includes a lot of great fans from up there in southern Wyoming that come down on a regular basis, and love having them. And it's been a hot ticket. And I think one thing you've seen a team that's put out a really good effort, both on the road and especially at home. They feed off of that crowd, and it's really a unique atmosphere. It is really, really cool to see going into a third period in a close game or a game where the Eagles are really clipping along at their best pace of play. It's just a lot of fun to be a part of. The players feed off of that. They sense it. I think the visiting team feeds off of it to a good extent too, because it's just so much palpable energy in the building. But as far as ticket sales have gone, we've been very, very fortunate in that regard. And with 16 games, 16 sellouts.
Similar to Major League Baseball with the big clubs and the AAAs. You look at and the American Hockey League always has been a great brand of hockey. But as you look at the standings right now, both NHL, AHL, are they basically mirroring each other, what we're seeing in the standings right now, especially with the big clubs?
It's interesting. I know that the Avalanche, that you're talking about massive superstars that are out of their lineup when you look at McKinnon and Landeskog and Nichushkin and the guys that they've been without, Bo Byram, over the course of this first half of the season, if you will. And I think that's had a little bit greater impact on them. Obviously, I think that they are fully capable of making a big charge down the back half of this season. But, I think for the Eagles, it was just a numbers game, and you had so many bodies out of the lineup, and to go out and continue winning games has kind of put them in a little bit more advantageous spot, at least up to this point, maybe than the big club up in the NHL. But again, that being said, they're starting to get healthy. That's always a good thing for not only the Avalanche, but for us. It can trickle guys back down to us that have been up there. The Ben Myers, the Martin Couts, the Brad Hunts. I mean, guys that have played a big impact role on our team. So, I think obviously it's all about health, and you're talking about some of their best players out of the lineup, and when their best players go out, it's our best players that they call up. So everybody's had to kind of navigate this, and I think for the Eagles, it's been some really good goaltending, and knock on wood, that's been a consistent for us, whether it's Jonas Johansson or Justus Annunen. I mean, they have really delivered night in and night out. They give you a chance to win almost every single time they take the ice. So for me, that's kind of been the big difference that you've seen between the two teams, and then that's by no means any sort of a shot at what the Avalanche have had goaltending-wise. But, I just think that the Eagles have played a really good defensive-minded, be strong in your own zone, rely on some strong goaltending, and grind out some one-goal wins. And Colorado has an exemplary record in the AHL this year in one-goal games, and that's really been beneficial. It's driven them up the standings.
Kevin, as I mentioned, home series standing coming up here this weekend, Friday and Saturday against the Rockford Ice Hogs. Something that I love about, and again, we mentioned minor league baseball, same with minor league hockey, especially here in the AHL. Again, it's promotions, it's giveaways that, again, a lot of these teams find ways to enthuse folks to come on out to their buildings, go cheer on their team, and again, have these special theme nights. I want to get into talking about encouraging folks to at least check this out this weekend down there in Loveland, again, at the Budweiser Event Center. It is Eagles Fight Cancer Weekend, Friday and Saturday against Rockford Ice Hogs. Let's get into, again, there are giveaways a part of this weekend, but more so the special weekend that is, again, kind of that cancer awareness that the Colorado Eagles will bring forth.
Yeah, it's one of the more special weekends you're going to find all season, and again, the guys are going to be wearing those lavender jerseys that support cancer warriors who are fighting all different types of cancer, and I think really that's the focus of this weekend is saluting those who are right now in the battle with cancer, who have won their battle, their families, and the medical professionals that support them, saluting all of those people over the course of this weekend. And obviously it's a disease that impacts every single person in one way, shape, or form across this country and across this world. So, I think the buy-in has just obviously been great because people understand the need for that support and to help those, particularly here in the region, locally, who need some help, and we try to do that through our auctions and some of the fundraising activities that we have going on that are part and parcel of this weekend. But really, the main focus of it is just a way to let people know who are in that fight and who are medical professionals who are assisting in that fight that they're appreciated and that they have somebody in their corner, and that is certainly the Colorado Eagles and all of their fans. And this is just one of those really, really special weekends.
Well, Kevin, we want to thank you so much again for giving us a few minutes of your time, and we'll probably catch up with you close to playoffs. So, again, looking forward to another successful season for the Colorado Eagles. And, again, thank you for your time today.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to talking to you here in the months to come.
All righty. Kevin McGlue, voice of the Colorado Eagles, again, the AAA franchise of the Colorado Avalanche. And again, Nick, before we go into the break, you see the Eagles, you see what the Avalanche are doing right now, pretty much a good mirror of what's going on right now. Both teams battling through injuries, and I would rather have, unfortunately, I hate to say that, but in hockey, you'd rather have those injuries early, and then they get stronger, get healthier as you make that run for the playoffs.
It depends. Again,
usually you get beat up in the late part of the season.
Again, it really depends on your division as well, too. If you have a team that's kind of just cruising out, again, a few teams that might be cruising away in that division just due to their health, trying to gain back those points. Again, it's something that the Avs, yes, have weathered, and again, they're getting healthy. We'll see their push right now, but Avs, as it seems, again, as they were the favorites to be defending Cup champs, again, get back to that point in time. Right now there's other teams that are kind of front runners at this point, and especially in the Western Conference. Again, you look at again as much as yes, or at least my team. Again, you look at the Vegas Golden Knights; they're kind of in that conversation of that's the favorite right now in the Western Conference. You look over on the East again with the Boston Bruins, a few other names out there, but Avs, yes, they weathered the storm. We will see now as they kind of get back into full strength of what they're made of as they'll push for the playoffs. Same with the Eagles again, as now they start to at least kind of get players to kind of set there at their club. Again, don't have to call up on the Utah Grizzlies, or again, don't have to send anyone else back up to the Avalanche. We'll see what their push is, but again, they still got again a few talented teams above them that are also too riding high, especially that Coachella new team, the Firebirds, again affiliates of the Seattle Kraken. Again, you go back to what you mentioned with Kevin, or asked him about standings in the AHL mirroring the NHL. Again, there's some parts that can. Again, I mentioned the Vegas Golden Knights having their phenomenal run right now in the Pacific Division. They're at least AAA affiliate, or at least American Hockey League team. Again, the Henderson Silver Knights, they're struggling right now. They're having all the issues because again, Vegas has kind of gobbled up a lot of that talent up there, at least in the NHL level.
But you look at the Seattle Kraken, and to me, and I might be wrong here, But the Kraken is probably the most surprised team. You know,
They turned around from last year.
Their second year of existence, and again with their AAA franchise, the Coachella Valley squad. You know, it's interesting too, where Kevin said they haven't had a lot of call-ups, so they have been playing pretty healthy on the big side all season long. But they are my surprise team. I really didn't think they were going to be, above the Mendoza line this season, but they've been playing pretty tough.
Yeah, Seattle definitely, again, a turnaround, at least on the standings-wise from last season. Again, a team that was not expected to do much. Again, they were similar of what the Vegas Golden Knights were able to do when they first came into the league, where, again, Vegas really took advantage of that expansion draft and got some really good talent. Seattle was not that, did not get that fortune. Instead, they kind of made some deals and, again, kind of developed and, again, built up those, at least, farm systems, so to speak, and, again, seeing at least some fortune here in 2022-2023. We'll see what it does for the remainder. Again, still a lot of games to be played for both the Firebirds and same with the Kraken up there, at least on the pro side. So we shall see, again, how things develop. But the Colorado Avalanche, again, still, again, plenty of games remaining for them to make a move within the standings, see if they can still keep healthy. Again, goaltending, as kind of Kevin alluded to, goaltending has been, over the past couple seasons, a little suspect. It seems like Avs kind of more rely on that offense. Again, it's a high-powered offense when it is healthy. Again, at least in my opinion, of last year's Cup run, again, offense was kind of the key thing. Goaltending has been an issue, but at least good to know on the Eagles side, they got potential or would-be contenders to move on up to be a part of that Avs.
Just like Major League Baseball, do you see some wheeling and dealing? You know, again, Crockies have pretty much thrown the Avalanche into the hands of one Joe Sakic. So, I mean, do you see maybe a trade coming for the Avalanche in between the pipes?
I don't know about that. And again, who knows? Again, anything and everything can happen in the AHL. Avs will absolutely, if they were going to be buyers, but I don't know. Again, you look at the Avalanche right now. Again, they sit, right above the Coyotes and
they're
the Blackhawks.
in playoffs, right? I mean,
they're not in the playoffs right now.
Oh,
again,
they weren't. I thought last I saw they were in the playoffs.
They're taking a tumble again, just due to, at least with the up and down movement right now. Where again, Avs, like you said, they're McKinnon getting back healthy again. There a lot of the big names coming back to at least to the club. Again, can they make that surge back? Who knows right now? It's a big question. Again, they sit right now, again, right above the Arizona Coyotes and the Chicago Blackhawks, who are two of, at least in the Western Conference, if not the league's, one of the worst teams. So they got a lot to at least get over. Again, can they pass Nashville? Can they pass St. Louis, Minnesota Wild, the Jets, Dallas Stars? Dallas Stars, again, talk about a team where, again, I got to see them, and I don't know if I want to use the word phenomenal for them, but again, yeah, they're
as of teams in the past.
Yeah, they're one of the, at least they're the top of the Central Division. They're an impressive team, and again, had a chance to watch them at least back in December when they took on the Anaheim Ducks. Yes, Dallas, are they a Cup contender? Yes, you could put them in that conversation, but out of the West, are they best in the West? I don't see it, just, again, especially with what Vegas is doing. You got the LA Kings that are having success, Seattle Kraken out of the Pacific. It's going to be a battle. But again, the Avs, as we talk about, again, to defend their cup, they got to overcome all those teams right in front of them in the Central Division to try and get into one of those wild card spots. That's kind of the issue right now, is that they sit right now with 43 points, 1 point behind the Preds, 2 behind the Blues. They're sitting behind right now the Oilers and also the Calgary Flames on the Pacific side. So they got a lot of – they're within it, but it's gonna take a few, or at least we'll see how the season kind of develops. At least now, here we are in 2023 for the Avs. See how healthy they can remain, and see some of these big star players who led them into the Stanley Cup final last year, if we can find a similar push for the Colorado Avalanche coming up.
All right, we are going to take a break. We will come back with more. We do want to mention, too, we will have another conversation coming up with Coach Suloff over at Burns High School. That'll be in our second hour as we get a chance, finally, as you mentioned yesterday, Nick, to wrap up with all our local coaches, a chance to talk some hoops on Burns Bronx.
Outside of the Pine Bluffs Lady Hornets, which, again, reached out to their head coach a couple times, have not had a response back. So, again, we'll probably reach out to Will Gray to kind of give a nudge to the head coach. But outside of that, yeah, we have –
We're pretty close. We're
Yeah.
pretty close. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. We get a chance to talk some more professional hoops and or professional sports, and that would be on the professional hoop side. We're back after this.
1480 K-Ray is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. To hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 K-Ray features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 K-Ray, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480kray.com.
Message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
When you are dealing with the coin shop to buy, sell, or trade your gold, silver, or other precious metals, you will be met with honesty, fairness, knowledge, and exceptional customer service. The Coin Shop has been serving Cheyenne since 1982 and is a respected member of our community. Call David today at 778-7196 to meet privately or visit during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. The Coin Shop, a dealer you can trust, 510 West 16th Street.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-413-7619. 800-413-7619. 800-413-7619. That's 800-413-7619.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather happenings on tap for today. Mostly cloudy and breezy. Expected daytime high near 38. Snow likely throughout the day. Total daytime snow accumulation less than an inch possible. Mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly clear after midnight. A low down to 23. Sunshine and breezy for tomorrow. We're looking for a daytime high near 43. And for Thursday night, mostly clear. Our low down to 27 degrees. And welcome back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. We talked about it a little bit yesterday as we were getting ready for day 2 of our program. And, you know, we're looking at right now professional hoops, and it's nice to see. You know, unfortunately, we can't get the doubleheader sweep with the Nuggets and the Avalanche right now, both of them being on top. I still have a lot of confidence in the Avs, but the Denver Nuggets this year.
Avalanche, I again, going back to them very quickly, I don't think they're going to take that division crown in the Central. I think Dallas is just too talented. And again, there's way too many teams in front of them to get past that. But again, who knows if they can make that drive. But Nuggets, yeah, as you're alluding to, and we talked about it a little bit as to yesterday's show, but Nuggets right now sit in that number 1 spot, 27-13 overall, 7.5 ahead of the Minnesota Timberwolves. But again, Timberwolves sit right now in that 9th spot in that wild card kind of, or at least yeah, I guess you can call it a wild card position there in the NBA playoffs if they were to start. Behind them right now out of the Southwest is the Memphis Grizzlies, who have, again, similar record at 27-13. So not the best in the West. They're tied with the Memphis Grizzlies. I think it's just kind of head-to-head matchups. Again, give the Nuggets that number 1 seed as of right now. Nuggets on a 3-game winning streak. This is, again, Nuggets, similarly Avalanche, you expect a winning nature out of this franchise. Again, you know that they're playoff bound. This number 1 seeding, is it surprising? Not necessarily, especially because, again, we know what this team is capable when all pieces are healthy. It's pretty much for the Denver Nuggets at this point in time for the franchise we know you're playoff bound. Seeding, okay, doesn't matter 1 through 10. Again, we just want you in the playoffs. Right. But it's a question mark of, will this team make it to the NBA Finals? That's kind of the big issue, and I think that's what Denver Nuggets fans are at this point of, yeah, we expect the playoffs. We know you're going to make the playoffs. You have a lot of talent. Stay healthy. Can you make it to the NBA Finals at this point in time? Again, this is a franchise that has been so close, made it to a Western Conference Final a few times, but still cannot grab that brass ring. And you look at the rest of the Western Conference of who's going to be contenders. Again, can't toss out Golden State, again, defending NBA champs, again, as much as they stand right now in that 8th spot in the playoffs if they were to happen. Warriors, again, got back Steph Curry last night, even though a losing effort to the Phoenix Suns. Again, they're still waiting for Klay Thompson to return back again. It's an injured team, but the Warriors have kind of survived, similar to the Colorado Avalanche, again, has survived and still find themselves right now in playoff contention. If that team does get healthy, or at least when it gets healthy again, will they have that kind of late season surge as what we saw last season out of the Warriors that eventually vaulted them in the NBA championship?
And again, we talk about disruptions like we're talking with the Avalanche, and you look at the Warriors. Again, they really, I think, game 1 of the season is when they were all healthy. And then everything started going down the tubes. But it looks like, and again, what I'm reading here, Thompson's going to be back in the lineup. So, now you got your 3-headed monster out there, so to speak, for the Warriors. And realistically,
it's also to a division for Golden State when they get healthy that it's very capable of winning, because right now, again, the Kings sit at top, but it's a 2-game lead over the Warriors. Again, behind them, 1 game the Clippers, Suns at 1.5, LA Lakers who are at the bottom, but again, they're only 3 games back of the Kings. So again, that division crown,
everybody's bunched up.
I'm just saying that division crown, if only 1 team were to come out of the Pacific Division, again, it's capable of all 5 of them to take that title. Again, the Kings, eventually you're going to trickle on down at a point in time. Again, here we are still, at least for the NBA season, we're close to that midway point, but again, just a little bit under it. But again, Golden State, if they get healthy, again, who knows with the Phoenix Suns, who had a great run last year. Clippers, they got talent. Again, Lakers, who knows with that situation, as much as, again, glad to see the Lakers at the bottom. Hopefully they stay at the bottom. But again, that division, can't sell at least short any of those teams, including the Golden State Warriors. Can't overlook that squad if they make it to the playoffs. So again, it's not what you do now, as we saw last year again with the Warriors. It's not what you do here in January. It's pretty much of March, April, May, make that playoff run.
And again, you tip your cap to the Warriors. They are the defending champions. I will say this, though. The aging Golden State Warriors, because they are getting older, but with all of the injuries they've sustained, they've stayed right around 500, and we are at the halfway point. 41 games in the books. So again, there's an 82.
Some teams are at that.
Yeah, but you're at an 82-game schedule. Now the Denver Nuggets have been fortunate this season. Let's be real honest. They have not sustained that major injury bug. Again, and Jokic has been he's been, as much as he gets pushed around, I'm impressed that every night you can bank on him coming on the floor. And when he's on the floor, you got to think right away, Nuggets got a very good chance at winning.
Yeah, but again, like I said, every season going into it for the Nuggets, they're within a conversation. I don't think they are kind of that overwhelming favorite to at least make it to the NBA Finals or at least win an NBA championship. But again, I think they're on the outside of those conversations of take a look or don't overlook the Nuggets. It's a situation, and I think for this season, And once we get to, again, July, once we get August, again, the postseason for the NBA, and we crown at least an NBA champion, again, if the Nuggets don't make it to the NBA Finals, you got to imagine that changes have got to come, possibly. Because, again, you're finding yourself into a similar situation of the George Karl years where with Carmelo, with all of them, that, again, you were playoff bound. You were making a Western Conference Final, but again, you were still finding ways to lose to the LA Lakers. That again, this is a franchise, a fan base that again, yeah, great, you made it to the playoffs. You got to get to that NBA Finals. And I don't think it's NBA championship or bust for the Nuggets this season. It's pretty much get over the hump of past the Western Conference Finals, get in and compete for a championship at this point in time. If they are to, especially where right now they sit at the one spot, and they might control that one spot all the way through up until at least when playoffs start, I think they can. And again, they're showing that, again, nothing is slowing down this Nuggets team. But if they don't make it to the NBA Finals this season, you got to imagine, and not saying that Mike Malone's going to lose his job. Who knows? Again, we've seen that before with the Nuggets. But again, not saying that Mike Malone would lose his job or, Jokic is going to get traded away. But you got to imagine, some big shift or change might come to this franchise where how many opportunities have they had at the playoffs? This is probably one of their better teams, clearly, and you still can't make it to that finals? And again, obviously, we're theorizing, again, where we still have a half a season to go and the playoffs still left, but you got to imagine, though, this team, I set expectations that they got to make the NBA Finals. They got to get past that Western Conference. Which I think they can, as much as, again, there's a lot of talent within this conference.
I don't know what the contract situation is with Jokic. As again, too, if you look at star players in the NBA, he's only being paid $33 million. Now, I use that word only, but again, you got like Jamal Murray making $31 million. So Jokic is more of that talent. So I don't know, is this his final year, or did he renew? I'm just trying to.
You might want to look up that information. I don't know.
Well, anyway, the Nuggets have forked out quite a bit of money on this team. Let's see, Porter is making $30 million, so you got three guys right there, $100 million for this franchise.
Yeah,
so,
it's a top-loaded, again, it's a superstar-laden roster that's getting paid pretty damn well. That, again, what do you have to show for it? You don't even have a Western Conference Final victory. You have not won a Western Conference banner with this organization.
But does that mean? They're all in, though? That's my question. Because again, the Nuggets.
I feel like the Nuggets have been all in, but again, I to make excuse for this franchise is that yes, when it comes to playoff time, there's a big injury that hits this team. And it seems like it always, again, whether it was Murray, Jokic has been kind of the healthy one, but again, it's been kind of more on that Jamal Murray situation where, again, he's kind of that anchor point. He gets hurt at some point in time during the regular season, close to the playoffs, and then they're without at least one superstar, and they kind of limp in and eventually fall within those playoffs. Nuggets, again, they have been all in. They have invested, clearly. Clearly they have, but again, it just seems like an injury or this or that happens to this franchise, and here we go. Next season, you're still without a Western Conference victory. You still can't get out of those playoffs, and you still can't compete for an NBA championship. And again, I think looking toward the future, if the Nuggets stay as the number one seed, which again, confident that they can be, and again, if they can make that run to the playoffs, they don't come away with a Western Conference title.
And
you got to imagine shakeup's got to happen.
And you look at this team though, from an age standpoint, they still are one of the youngest teams on the floor. So again,
compared to a few other Suns or
but they're staying pretty healthy. And you mentioned what, the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to say there's a changing of the guard, and I mentioned this with the Warriors. Warriors are aging. And again, they're becoming oft injured, and we know the story of Klay Thompson, where the guy's he's battled through the Achilles tendon, the knee injury. Steph, what he does night in, night out. Obviously, the guy just gets hammered. He gets injured. We know that Draymond Green, who does not match up all the time with the big guys down below, he gets beat up.
You talk about the age, and again, with the injury bug that is hitting with the Warriors, again, they still stand right now in an 8th spot if the playoffs were to end. Again, they are close within as much as the Pacific Division has gone through its battles. Again, seeing the Kings at the top is just odd. But either way, though, again, the Warriors have survived the battle, sit 20-21 overall right now, just below 500. Again, with all that odds against them, and again, if you're saying, hey, they're aging, that's pretty damn impressive, where, again, any other franchise would probably collapse and only have about 10 wins at this point in time. So kudos to the Warriors. Again, going back to the Nuggets situation, as we look towards the playoffs, where, again, you feel pretty confident at near the halfway mark. Again, they're one game behind the halfway mark. But Nuggets will be playoff bound. Again, what seeding will they be? Again, to be determined. I think it will be a relatively high seeding if they stay healthy as well, too. But for the Denver Nuggets, this Western Conference, though, again, like I said, don't overlook the Warriors. Don't overlook the Mavericks. Mavericks sit right now in that 4th spot. Mavericks, who gave the Warriors a good fight last year in the Western Conference Finals. Don't overlook that team. Again, Phoenix, they got a lot of talent.
Do you expect the Pelicans to drop? Do you expect them to drop off, though? I do.
Not with Zion if he still stays healthy, but
and that's just it. And you said the key word, if he stays healthy. And again, he's another one of those like Draymond Green. He takes a beat.
Can't overlook the Grizzlies as well, too. They gave the Warriors a run for their money last season in the playoffs. So again, you want to talk about young and talented, is the Memphis Grizzlies, who right now lead that Southwest Division in the Western Conference. Again, they're tied with the Denver Nuggets, so don't overlook them. John Morant as well, too, of what he's been able to do. Again, minimum Nuggets. I think the fan base is probably, again, with us not being a true blue fan of the Denver Nuggets franchise, but again, you got to imagine out here in Nuggets country, and again, if you take the pulse of the nation for this fan base, it's got to be NBA Finals or bust this season.
Yeah.
I think plain and simple, but it's going to be a tough road where Nuggets, if they are to be spoiled, I would come back on this air and go, I'm not surprised, though, but with the talent in this conference.
You said a good point, though. It's got to be conference or bust, or championship or bust.
I'm not saying they got to win a championship. But they got to make it to the finals.
Same could be said on the East, though, with the Nets, Brooklyn.
No,
and I'm going to go back to
the Nets are not better than the Boston Celtics.
No, Celtics are good, but Brooklyn has seemed to and again, a lot of it was media fed, but internally there was a disconnect. It seems like that team now on the floor is playing a lot better. And again, too, anytime you got a Kevin Durant on your team, you got a very good opportunity of being in the finals.
Nets, plain and simple, are playing just basketball again, going out there doing their thing outside of, again, the media attention of recently over the past couple of years, whether it was vaccine situation, whether it was the Kyrie Irving situation with his comments about the Jewish community. Again, there's been a lot of negativity around Brooklyn, and yes, they focus on basketball. They've won and sit right now as a number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference on a last 10, they're 9-1 on a 2-game winning streak. Again, 27-13, similar mark of what the Denver Nuggets have at this point in time. But Nets, are they better than the Celtics? No. I think the Celtics are, in the East, the best team. Again, they proved it last year. I think they'll prove it again this season. Nets could give them a run for the money. But again, it seems like the Nets, similar to the Nuggets, are that franchise that, even with all the talent that they had and have currently a part of that franchise, they can't get over that stepping stone of finding themselves in that NBA Finals. Other teams in the East that could be contenders or at least could go after the Boston Celtics crown. Milwaukee, again, championship team of a couple seasons ago.
No, I don't think so.
I think you still got to respect them. Cleveland, that's a surprising team for me. That, again, where the hell they come from.
I think they're going to be like New Orleans. I think they're, and it's nice that they're winning, but I think they're going to fall off.
Chicago Bulls sitting at the bottom right now, again, in the 10th spot of the playoffs were to happen. But the Bulls had a run going on last year in the Eastern Conference, but injuries kind of fell on them and they petered out. Bulls kind of surprised to see that they're at the bottom there of that Central Division. You look at the Southeast, the Heat, Hawks, any of them, Wizards, Magic, Hornets, any of those teams, they're all pretty bad.
Yeah,
they're pretty bad, and I don't think any of those teams can
you
contend for
look
the
at
crown.
your top six. There's Indiana always there. The Pacers are going to be there, and then they're just going to die.
But let's be
They're
honest.
going to die in the first or second
But
round.
let's be honest. So, again, NBA's been like this, similar of what we see in basketball here in the state of Wyoming, where, again, one conference is weaker than the other. Western Conference basketball here in the NBA is a lot better, a lot more talented than the East. Again, the only shining star in it is the Boston Celtics over the past couple seasons. Outside of that, though, again, you got to imagine that NBA crown has got to go to another Western team, whether it is Warriors repeat, whether it is the Denver Nuggets, Memphis Grizzlies find a way, Dallas Mavericks. Again, you can pretty much 1 through 8. There's about a good 5, 6, 7 teams there that you could say, yeah, I could see legitimately winning a championship. You look through 1 through 10 on the Eastern Conference side, Celtics maybe, Nets maybe, Bucks maybe, but outside of that, again,
I don't even put the Bucks up there anymore.
If it's Cleveland versus the Denver Nuggets, for instance, in the NBA Finals, Nuggets should be easily favored and should easily win that thing.
Well, I don't think easily, but I think they should win it. But, yeah, you're right.
Nothing impresses me of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm saying after Brooklyn, even with Philly and Milwaukee, Cleveland, I'm not all that sold on right now. But Brooklyn has caught my eye a little bit just simply with the fact they are a cohesive unit on the floor right now. Their record indicates that they're playing some good basketball. And you're right about Boston. Celtics, it would not shock you and me to see them back on the floor again for the NBA championship.
We shall see again. A lot of basketball still to be played. Again, Denver Nuggets healthy right now, sitting as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. We'll see if that lasts. It should if they stay healthy. But again, it's more so for the Nuggets, and I would assume for Nuggets fans that, again, you're more concerned right now of playoffs, what they do in these playoffs, take advantage of, again, if they are fully healthy, if this team can finally make it to the NBA Finals. If they don't, you got issues, and I think changes have to come.
And I also think, too, they're going to need the home court advantage throughout the playoffs, especially at Ball Arena. I think, again, when you take them out of Ball, they're okay. Don't get me wrong.
Even at Ball, though, we've seen them get upset.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, I think it's just that having that luxury of being that top seed, staying at home is going to be one of the keys for the Denver Nuggets. We got to take a timeout. We'll come back, talk a little college football while we got a chance, and we'll be back after these words right here on 1480 K-Ray.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. That's 800-797-0711.
For nearly 30 years, family-owned and operated Lennox Auto Body, along with the Auto Glass and Detail Center, has been serving our community with quality and customer satisfaction. It's a pretty simple drill. When you want it done right the first time, call Lennox Auto Body for an appointment at 307-634-6608. Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue. And the Auto Glass and Detail Center. Remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean at 617 East Pershing Boulevard.
Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
I'm Captain Don Hollingshead with the Silent Witness Crime of the Week. The Laramie County Sheriff's Office is seeking information related to a larceny that occurred in the 4200 block of Main Street in Hillsdale. Between November 19th and the 21st, 300 gallons of fuel was stolen from Fire District 6. If you have information about this or any other crime, call Crime Stopper Silent Witness at 638-TIPS or on the web at silentwitnesslaramiecounty.com. You remain anonymous and may be eligible for a cash reward of $1,000. Together, we...
For over 30 years and still delivering the results you expect is Shine Auto Repair and Service. Hi, this is Larry Proietti again for Cars in downtown Cheyenne, reminding you that John and his staff are there to take care of your vehicle's woes. From oil change and replacing windshield wipers to digging deep into fixing your heating and air conditioning unit or fixing your brakes and shocks. You can depend on Shine Auto Repair and Service for taking care of most minor repairs. And most importantly, John is a TechNet professional, which means he is one of the best nationally when it comes to getting your car or truck back on the road as soon as possible. Check him out online at technetprofessional.com. Don't wait until the last minute. Have your vehicle serviced by one of the best in Cheyenne. Shine Auto Repair and Service at 604 West Lincoln Way. Call for an appointment at 632-0498. That's 307-632-0498. Open Monday through Friday. Happy New Year and welcome to 2023 from the Terry Bison Ranch. And most importantly, a huge thank you for your continued support. The Terry Bison Ranch wants to let you know that they will be closed throughout the month of January as they will be remodeling to bring you more entertainment, delicious food, and of course, fantastic family fun. Remember, the Terry Bison Ranch will be closed for remodeling from now until January 31st.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather happenings on tap for today, mostly cloudy and breezy. Expect a daytime high near 38, snow likely throughout the day. Total daytime snow accumulation less than an inch possible. Mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly clear after midnight, or low down to 23. Sunshine and breezy for tomorrow. We're looking for a daytime high near 43, and for Thursday night, mostly clear. Our low down to 27 degrees. This past Monday night, the Georgia Bulldogs captured the national championship. Probably, Nick, unless you are a diehard TCU fan, to nobody's surprise. As a matter of fact, after I saw TCU lose to Kansas State in their championship quest, and again, I was shocked when TCU beat Michigan, but I figured this one would be about a 42-14 score. I just saw the Bulldogs being just way more explosive than TCU. TCU's defense, was okay, but the Bulldogs just had everything on both sides of the ball. Over the last 2 years, they're 29-1. Come on, I mean.
Yeah, they
were destined for greatness.
They're the new Alabama at this point in time. Again, a dynasty that at least is here. Again, could extend upon more. Where again, we'll see what college football landscape looks like next season. Where again, you got to imagine Georgia's going to still be that number one team. Looking at their schedules, well, too. Georgia has a plain and simple, just easy schedule, at least non-conference. And then again, looking at least who they play in the SEC. But again, I figured this was a situation for the national championship that TCU would put up a little bit of a better fight, but yeah, Georgia was clearly the better team. And now it kind of puts into question, and again, as much as the college football playoff is needed, and it's nice that you have something like that, even with the 4 teams, but still, it kind of showed that it wasn't even a contest. So were these really the best 4 teams? And this is the college football playoff flawed, where should TCU have been knocked out for an Alabama, for a USC or a Utah or whoever? It kind of brings up now a question of, was the BCS better than what is the college football playoff? Because, again, this championship game was pretty damn pathetic.
Well, you go back to USC. They shot themselves in the foot. I mean, they had unique opportunity.
Would USC put up a better fight than TCU? Who knows right now? But you figure something better than that.
And everybody's talking about Michigan. Would they have put up a better fight? No. I think Georgia was just too doggone good. Yeah, you look at Michigan and the job that Harbaugh has done. And TCU, in my opinion, was lucky to beat Michigan. I don't think Michigan was going to be that much more of a challenger. I think Georgia was just too strong on both sides of the football. I mean, really, in all facets of the game. And again, you could throw Stetson Bennett into the conversation. But the thing is, Georgia, just from the getting out of the gates in this 2022-2023 season, there was nobody who was going to beat them. Am I wrong?
They were the clear favorite. Again, even heading into that national championship, everyone knew that they were. Again, even though Ohio State did give them a run for their money in that at least semifinal matchup to get to the national title. Again, that was a fun contest where, again, go figure, the Buckeyes that got obliterated by Michigan during the regular season. That, oh, here we go. That could Ohio State be that team, which was, again, highly surprising. Instead, no, Georgia finds a way, gets it done. But, yeah, Georgia was the odds-on favorite. They did it. They're going to be the odds-on favorite going into next season without a doubt. Georgia, yeah, again, completely agree. They're the best team in football, at least in college football. They proved it. They'll prove it again. Yeah, who was that rightful contender to take them down? Who knows right now? I don't think anyone was kind of within that realm, whether it was Michigan, Ohio State, TCU, USC, Utah, Alabama, Tennessee early on when they were kind of expected to be the favorite. Georgia was the best team, is the best team, and, yeah, no one was even on the same level as them, at least clearly.
You know, you look at the upcoming NFL draft in April. And, again, I do believe there's some quarterback-heavy top choices coming out of, a college. And
it's not number one, though.
You throw Bennett. Bennett obviously moved his stock to the top.
Yeah, but he's not going to be the number one overall pick, or at least as of right now with the Chicago Bears.
No, because they got Justin Fields.
Yeah, they got Fields, and they're happy with
and I think the Bears now, especially with the McCaskey family, they sit pretty because what you could do, you could trade that off.
Yeah, and again, will the Houston Texans, who, again, made that stupid mistake on the end of the regular season to, again, at least – again, it got Lovie Smith fired. But either way, again, Houston Texans, you got to imagine that they would probably be the one interested of going at that number one pick. I don't know. Again, this is interesting with the Chicago Bears, who, again, they got their guy with Fields. They got a lot of young talent out there. This could be fun to watch coming up, where what are the Bears going to do? They control destiny for a lot of teams that could go up. Again, Bears don't need a quarterback. Texans do. A few other franchises do that are within that top five. Who knows? Who's going to be the loudest bidder to go after that number one spot? Can it be the Texans? I don't think so. But right now, Bears got all the leverage to make.
Who comes to mind for me? And I'm throwing this out here right now. The Raiders. They've given up on Carr.
Who knows? Because
Raiders got money.
Raiders are rumored right now to go after Jimmy G, go after Tom Brady. They're looking at least, again, this is rumored, but we'll see if they go after some of the older vets that are, again, established.
And Brady was rumored to go to Santa Clara as well, too. So,
and he might still, again, that's still tossed out of that. Again, he might play one season with the 49ers. 49ers who, again, have this quarterback carousel going on, but, again, they're finding success, thankfully, now with Brock Purdy. Yeah. But, again, Trey Lance was the guy. Then we had to go to Jimmy G. He gets injured. Now Brock Purdy's having a phenomenal run as a rookie right now with the 49ers, and if he can lead this team to the promised land, which, again, I feel confident that he can, again, with the tools and weapons that he has around him. But, again, Jimmy G might be on the move to the Raiders, Tom Brady. There could be a lot of wheeling and dealing off-season to get quarterbacks where teams might not want to buy in immediately for a rookie quarterback to develop, like the Raiders. Texans, they might. But again, who's going to be that team that goes and gives, essentially the house for that number one pick to the Chicago Bears? Who knows right now?
Well,
I figure the top dog team is going to be the Texans.
I was going to say with the Raiders, they've always had success with USC players. So there's a very good opportunity that the Raiders would possibly trade up and go after SC.
And again, who knows what's going to happen with Derek Carr? He seems like he's on the way out for the Raiders. Who will pick him up? Again, could it be a Texans team that says, "Hey, we'll take Derek Carr, we'll take a Jimmy G, we'll take whoever, we'll take this opportunity." Like I said, this off season, which again we're still ways away from the draft. Again, next at least coming up in April. There's still a lot of potential, a lot of opportunity for teams to talk, discuss, and make those moves, make those trades. It's honestly in NFL history, this is kind of one of the more exciting off seasons of possibilities, especially with Chicago taking over that number one spot. Who doesn't need a quarterback? They need a lot of weapons, but I don't think they need young talent. They need established vets. And who's that team that's going to step up, give them what they want, and take over that one spot?
And also, too, you look at the Denver Broncos, and again, the Broncos are going to be a kind of two-headed here. They need a lot of help everywhere. They also need, as you take a look at it, they need a coach. And I was right. I sat here and said, hey, Sean Payton, they've been given permission to talk to him by the Saints. Jim Harbaugh. Do I think either one of them makes a stop with Denver? Probably not.
The thought with Harbaugh right now is he would return to his old, at least NFL team with the Indianapolis Colts right now. Again, looking like
because Jeff Saturday was kind of just thrown in.
Yeah, we'll see again what Colts ownership do on that situation. But again, it seems like Harbaugh to the Colts could be a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to be a reality. Again, he still seems committed with Michigan at this point in time. But again, he went back to Michigan where he played. Could go back to the Colts where he played. Who knows right now? Denver, again, we've talked about this again a couple weeks ago, that for the Broncos, again, moving past the coordinators, again, you've done it with defense, you've done it with an offensive coordinator now. It has not worked. You need a proven head coach to take over the helm of this team now. Okay. Where, again, you got talent there with the Denver Broncos. The defense has been solid since even when they won Super Bowl 50. You got to figure out this offense situation. But, again, I think I don't want to say the cure-all for the Denver Broncos but it's something that you've experimented with coordinator after coordinator. You need to find a head coach guy. You need to find someone that is established, whether here in the NFL or you go on down to the college ranks.
And again, too, with Sean Payton, he has not been shopping himself.
No.
He's been very content being, in the studio. But, again, the Saints still have him under contract, so you're going to have to pay the Saints a lot of money. And I guarantee you, if you want Sean Payton to step onto the field, and again, you look what he did with Drew Brees over in New Orleans, and again, that's a very offensive-minded head coach, which could only, and again, I know a lot of people are very down on Russell Wilson, but my point is, can he come in and make an impact offensively for the Denver Broncos? Absolutely, but it's going to cost the Walton family a lot of money to bring Sean Payton in, if they're after him right now. All right, we are going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk some more NFL news because playoffs are here. And we'll be back after these words right here in 1480 K-Ray.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray. Hour number 2 of our program, and again, we'll get a chance to talk with Coach Suloff over at Burns High School here towards the bottom of the hour, and we will also continue on with our NFL discussion.
We'll actually talk to Coach here in about 17 minutes, so not the bottom of the hour.
Oh, I thought it was 12:30.
No, how about 12:20 is when we'll talk with Coach, but either way.
We'll kind of sandwich him in between NFL. We still got to talk Wyoming Cowboys as well, too. Believe me, I have a lot of discussion on the Cowboys because people come up to me or writing me about the upcoming football season. Not a lot of happy fans right now.
Yeah, again, who knows? Again, it seems like it's a mix of half and half. Again, we'll be out there to support the Cowboys. Again, are kind of a little peeved off of what happened this season. Again, still not too happy with head coach Craig Bowl at the helm. But again, we'll see.
And you got 2 more years of this.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, that's for later. But, again, let's go back to the NFL, talk about playoffs upcoming where we know that, again, KC, Philly, get the bye, number 1 teams. But there's some thrilling wild card, at least contests upcoming where, again, AFC, same with the NFC, some surprise teams where there could be some lower seeds that might upset some of the top dogs. Especially in the NFC, I think there's a possibility of at least maybe one that could pull off the upset.
And I'm going to stop short on this. Again, both you and myself being 49er fans. Right now, Levi Stadium is a sponge because of all of the Pacific storms that they've had in Santa Clara. Does that equalize Seattle? Well, not really, because Geno Smith is not going to be able to run around as well either. I think the 49ers defense far better than Seattle, but again, holding on to the football, there's more rain in the forecast, does not get me excited right now. It kind of, when you have weather changes like that, it kind of evens things up, where the 49ers are much better than Seattle.
Well, again, it's not a situation of what they saw week 1 against the Chicago Bears out there in Chicago of that just pure rainstorm. I don't think it's going to be that kind of condition at Levi Stadium. But again, 49ers that, again, took care of business against Seattle twice this season, pretty handily as well, too.
They
again,
look like a machine right now. They're good.
This 49ers team that went unbeaten in the NFC West find themselves as a 2 seed in the NFC. Again, Seahawks, sorry. Again, they don't have enough to stop this team, especially with all the offensive weapons. This defense is one of the stingiest defense in all of the NFL. Sorry, Seahawks, it's not your time. Saturday, 2:30 kickoff. That game in Santa Clara, it's just not going to happen. Looking at other matchups coming up, at least this Saturday, Jags, Chargers. That's kind of one of those matchups where, again, Jacksonville, that's really red hot right now, snuck into the playoffs, had everything go their way. That could be one of those lower seed teams that finds a way to shock. The Chargers this season have not impressed me at all. I don't think the Chargers are all that worth a damn at this point.
I like that matchup again, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert. And again, I expect fireworks in this one. I really do. I would be shocked if this is like a 17-10 game. And one of the things, too, and even though they lost to the Broncos, credit the Chargers. Maybe they might have pulled back, and I don't want to say they pulled back the horses. They knew where their position was going to be in the playoffs. They had that lockdown. But they still kept out those first-teamers out there to stay sharp.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be very beneficial.
Were the first teamers again, at least kind of running through the motions for the Chargers? Possibly. I wouldn't doubt it. Again, if you know your position, you kind of just go through it and avoid the injury. So, Chargers losing the Broncos again. I don't read much into that, but again, the Chargers, I can't buy in this team. They have not been all that impressive this season. That again, Jags, I think again it goes into how are you playing now? Jags are kind of that enigma team that have gotten red hot and have found this new life and being led by Trevor Lawrence. That could be that surprise, shock, upset that, again, I was kind of alluding to, that I think this Jags team, not so much a team of destiny, but could just pull off this one magical win and, kind of cap off what was kind of an enigma season for the Jacksonville Jaguars, where, again, they weren't expected to do a whole lot this year.
And again, luckily for the Jags, they got the home field. Like I said, I'd like to see this one turn into fireworks because both these teams can score easily.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, defense is just not existent for either.
The other game I like too is Tampa and Dallas, and Dallas kind of laid an egg in their last game against the Commanders. Tampa has been kind of up down all season long, but it's at Tampa, so you have to like the fact that if you're a Cowboys fan, you got a shot. You're playing a team that's lesser than you.
Cowboys, who over the past couple seasons, again, go back to last year's contest with the 49ers, again, you had home field advantage, still found a way to get shocked by them.
But you got Tampa, though, that beat you early in the year.
Cowboys, who were, again, early favorites this season, again, being one of the top dog teams, giving a run for at least Philadelphia Eagles money. Tampa, again, that's a team that has just been too inconsistent, too up and down. You don't sell short Tom Brady at the helm when it comes to the playoffs, but in that matchup, even on the road, give me the Dallas Cowboys for some reason. I think that it's a team that has more talent, that has been a little bit more consistent than Tampa Bay, even though, again, they got to go on the road. But still, though, Dallas, I think, is the better team.
I'm going to go with Tampa just simply for the fact Dallas hasn't been running the football well. And you're going to depend too much on Dak Prescott to throw the football. And, again, he's got a lot of weapons. I'm not going to sell short the weapons. And, again, a good offensive line. But, again, you're going to give the Buccaneers opportunity to tee off on him.
Yeah.
And it's at home and it's on grass.
Two games that I believe that are going to be well in favor of the home teams, in my opinion. Give me Buffalo over Dolphins. Miami just that they have fallen off the radar. Yeah, Miami just looks pathetic at this point in time. They limped into the playoffs. Bills are, again, with everything that's happening on, again, I think the Buffalo Bills have a lot to play for, a lot to fight for. They're going to I feel confident that Buffalo at home against the Miami Dolphins are going to crush that team. That's not even going to be close.
I don't know if it's going to be a crush, but they're going to win handily.
They should win. Again, I say minimum by 30 points. I think it could get that ugly. That, again, Buffalo is going to look to make a statement win early on in the wild card round, especially against that, again, opposing foe out of the AFC East with the Miami Dolphins. The other game I think that the home team should at least take care of business pretty handily, Cincinnati. I think the Bengals are playing, again, pretty hot football right now. Ravens, again, similar team, kind of limping in, been up and down this season. Bengals, though, again, they've been to the dance before. They were in the Super Bowl last year. Bengals, they know what it takes. I think they'll take care of business.
The only thing that's been saving the Ravens right now has been their defense, and that's a Harbaugh tradition over there in Baltimore. Yeah. Playing tough defense with Jackson, and again, I don't think he's going to play. If he does, he's one hit away from being done. But I think offensively they're just not good. They're just not good, and their defense can only hold them so long. I think another game, too, that's just absolutely, I don't want to say horrid, but
you might want to pause on that. Again, if you're talking Giants and Vikings, I think that's another one where, again,
I hope the Giants win.
I think the Giants could win that contest. Vikings, yes, they've been near the top. They've kind of run into kind of question marks here at the tail end. Again, losing that position as well, too. They were the 2 seed for quite some time. Then, again, a few questionable losses to round out. 49ers taking over, again, at least beat them on the tiebreaker as well, too. Vikings look vulnerable, where, again, the Giants, that's a team that's gotten red hot as well, too, similar to the Jags, that I think the Giants, even on the road, again, and I think that's a benefit as well, too, for the Giants is, again, it's in a dome. It's again, just clean playing field. It will take care of business. Don't have to worry about elements up there in Minnesota. That, again, Giants, if all things go their way, I wouldn't be surprised if they upset.
Correct me if I'm wrong, if this works out the way I think it does. If the Giants beat the Vikings, they're the lowest of the seeds. They would go play Philadelphia at Philly. Let's just say the 49ers beat Seattle, Tampa beats Dallas, and the 49ers would host Tampa, right?
Well, yeah, they're the 2 seed. That's how it works.
So, and you know what? That makes me feel pretty doggone good heading into
for the next round. If 49ers make it on again, they're bound to host one more. And again, they have a potential to host at least 3 if Philadelphia were to lose in that next round. So again, 49ers have at least somewhat of a home field advantage, at least for 2 rounds if they make it that past, at least that far, which again they should.
Look over in the AFC, and I know we got to get going here, but look at the AFC. Kansas City is home. Always tough at Arrowhead, so let's throw that out there.
And they're going to have elements as well too out there in Missouri, without a doubt.
I mean, and it should be Buffalo and Kansas City, but do you see anybody in that next round? It'd be like either Jacksonville or the Chargers. I think the Chargers would match up well against Kansas City since they're AFC West foes.
Not really.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Again. Looking at potential matchups for that next round, again, I think, again, Jags, Bengals, Bills, and again, at least Jags would be in that spot. Sorry, I think that even if either or, again, Chargers, Jaguars, whoever Kansas City faces, I think Kansas City has kind of proven that they're a beatable team. They're not the juggernaut of what they were when they, again, won their Super Bowl against the 49ers a couple of years ago, but again, they're still a talented team.
Yeah, they're very good.
Again, I pause saying they're the best team in the AFC. Again, they did get that number 1 seed. Bills, that is still a team I keep an eye out that. Could they make a run here? Could they get red hot? And again, they have. And I think with the Hamlin situation, again, kind of the rallying cry for this team, I think that's something to keep an eye out, that this is going to be a new look Bills that's going to really ramp up their play, and they're playing for something special right now.
Well, don't sell off the Bengals either. The Cincinnati Bengals have ramped it up a little bit. They kind of had that little midseason I don't want to say breakdown, but they've kind of picked up. And again, you gotta like the talented quarterbacks in the AFC. You go with Mahomes, you go with Burrow, you go with Josh Allen, you go with Herbert, you go with Trevor Lawrence. I'm telling you right now, that AFC's got some really good quarterback play right now. So I'm liking the AFC playoffs here. Wouldn't shock me again. Chargers beat the Jags. Wouldn't shock me if the Chargers match up next with Kansas City and they can beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Wouldn't shock me.
Again, I believe that Jacksonville should get that at least upset again, at least against the Chargers, even though, again, Jags at home hosting, again, winning the AFC South. But, again, Giants, Jags would be the two teams that I think could shock a few folks to get past, at least go on to that next round. Super Bowl pick for myself, again, obviously we're going to go with the 49ers. I think they still, again, this is not nothing against the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, they're a talented team, have been a consistent team, but they do have their flaws, and again, they have lost a couple times, and again, teams have exposed that. I think the best team right now in the NFC, and they've proven it, even with all the up and down of the quarterback situation, all the injuries as well, too. It's the 49ers.
Yeah,
again, Super Bowl right now pick for me. I feel confident.
49ers, Buffalo?
Yeah. I think Buffalo.
I think we're both in agreement on that. And again, too, Josh Allen, California boy, love to see him go up again. And again, 49er fan, too.
Yeah.
So, again, I would love to see Buffalo and San Francisco in the Super Bowl. Would not shock me, though. Would not shock me to see the Chargers either. Again, they're for some reason.
Chargers, I don't believe are the best. They are. Can they get it to the Super Bowl compared to, again, Bill, Cincy, Kansas City, all those teams in front of them? I even put the Ravens in front of them. That, again, they are not. Chargers are about the fifth, sixth best team.
Well, yeah, and that's what they're ranked right now. But again, this is a team that's dangerous anytime offensively.
Not really.
They have the football. All right. Well, you and me
compared to, again, who's more dangerous on the offense of the Bills and the Bengals and again, Kansas City.
And again, I want San Francisco and Buffalo. Just so you know, right now, I want San Francisco and Buffalo in the Super Bowl, and then when we sit down,
which I think
and talk about
is a legitimate. I think that's a legitimate possibility. Again, both of those teams can make it. They have the tools, they have the weapons, they have the talent. I think absolutely. And again, things go their way. Yeah, it can be that situation.
And you want to know right now?
Again, 49ers were a play away last year from making it to the Super Bowl.
And you want to know right now? I would pick San Francisco, not because I'm a diehard 49er fan. I just see the defense of the 49ers being just a little bit better than Buffalo's.
And that offense, again, being led with Brock Purdy of what he's doing as a rookie quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, has really shocked the waves that, again, he is a future, or at least as of right now it stands, a franchise quarterback. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of weapons around him. That, again, matchup with KC, with Buffalo, with Cincinnati, 49ers, I think just kind of key on that defense. Defense wins championships. Who's got the best defense is San Francisco.
Well, I think John Lynch has walked upstairs right now and said, hey, we got to put a little more in that pay envelope for Brock Purdy, too, because he has done an unbelievable job for the 49ers. All right, got to take a break. Come back. We'll talk Burns Bronx high school hoops right after this here on 1480 Carry.
17 years in the community and still striving to offer you the best value in a new vehicle. A.J. Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne. Take a look at the new 2023 Kia Sorento. With the 2023 Kia Sorento, you have a choice of 3 models, 8 different trims, and 4 different all-weather drive modes. Some available features include 281 horsepower, 20-inch wheels, remote start, and climate control. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Hi, it's Lee at Absolute Flooring. It's time to put 2022 behind us and get 2023 off to a great start. The best way to do that is with new flooring from Absolute Flooring. With a large variety of flooring products and a multitude of styles, colors, and prices, your new floor awaits you. And with the best in installers, get your new year started off right with a stop at Absolute Flooring in the Cheyenne Plaza and at AbsoluteFlooringWIO.com. Remember, it's always your home, your floor, your store, absolutely.
At the Cheyenne Regional Heart and Vascular Institute, you're welcomed with the warmth of a community hospital and cared for with help from the most advanced technology in the industry. With our full spectrum of in-house heart services and procedures, you can get the treatment you need, recover, and get right back out there, all while remaining close to home. Find out more at CheyenneRegional.org/heart.
Are you 60 plus and love to travel? Introducing the Senior Travel Discount Network, brought to you by Low Cost Airlines. Call us anytime, day or night, and save up to 75% on your airline and hotel reservations. We can help you save a ton of money to fly almost anywhere. We have inside discounts on over 500 airlines and 500,000 hotels worldwide. And when you call and mention the discount code 60 plus, we'll give you an extra free night with your qualified air and hotel reservation. Now you can get the best prices on air and hotel reservations with your phone. We make it easy and fast for you to save money and book a trip. Remember, call the Senior Travel Discount Network, mention the discount code 60 plus for your free hotel night with your qualified reservation. Call now.
800-510-7126. 800-510-7126. 800-510-7126. That's 800-510-7126.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-501-9096. 800-501-9096. 800-501-9096. That's 800-501-9096.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather happenings on tap for today. Mostly cloudy and breezy. Expected daytime high near 38. Snow likely throughout the day. Total daytime snow accumulation less than an inch possible. Mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly clear after midnight, or low down to 23. Sunshine and breezy for tomorrow. We're looking for a daytime high near 43, and for Thursday night, mostly clear. Our low down to 27 degrees. Well, we get a chance again to talk high school hoops, and we yesterday talked with Barry Ward of the Lady Broncs. Well, we get a chance now to talk to Kurtis Suloff, who is the head coach of the Burns Broncs, Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. Coach, 4-8 in season, 2-2 in the SmackDown tournament last week. But one of the things that you have to say about your squad right now, and again, whether they are playing a 2A school or a 3A school, you guys have faced some very top-tier talent in the preseason.
Yeah, we really have. I mean, pretty much everybody we're playing, has been, one of the top teams in whether it's 3A or 2A. And so, it's been some trial by fire, but, it's been some really good experience for us early.
You go 500 in last week's tournament, and again, coming back after the Christmas break. So, again, were you seeing some good positive things that your team, obviously one of the things you'd say, kept themselves in shape, didn't eat too much, Christmas ham or turkey. But my point is, though, did you see some good things in that 2-2 tournament?
Yeah, we really did. The first game we came out after a long bus ride and we struggled, and, I thought a lot of that was us. And then I kind of saw what Tongue River did to a couple other teams, and I figured, I was like, oh, maybe, it's, yes, we struggled, but, they're also a really good team. But I felt after that we just got better each game. We, played Bighorn, and if you saw the starting lineups, our tallest guys 6'2", maybe 6'3", and we got a bunch of guys under 6 foot, and then they were huge, and we hung right with them. We were winning most of that game, and kind of, just got cold towards the end, and then, against Wright and Sundance, I thought each game improved. So, I was really happy with that.
Coach, as we talked with Barry yesterday, we'll ask you kind of a similar question where, again, Burns over the past couple seasons was up a classification in Class 3A. This season dropped down to Class 2A, where, again, in the southeast quadrant, again, you'll see likes of Pine Bluffs, again, a Laramie County foe that you'll see a few times this season. Lingle Fort, Laramie, Lusk as well, too, within this at least quadrant. But, again, Coach, I guess size it up. Where is there really any difference or any different kind of preparation for 2A teams compared to when Burns was in the Class 3A ranks?
I think when we were in 3A, we played some senior heavy teams the past couple years that it felt like they had 2-3 year starters, and and so there's they're experienced, and 3A, it seems like 3A maybe has a little more depth. And then, we dropped down to 2A, and we're playing, we're going to play a Pine Bluffs who's, the defending state champions, and some of those guys have started for several years. And, so it actually feels very similar. I think a lot of people think the difference in classifications is going to be really, huge. And actually, I think 2A this year, you put any of those 2A teams up against these 3A teams, and they're going to be really competitive.
Coach, I'm glad you mentioned, again, you're one of the smaller teams in Class 2A, and we kind of likened you. Matter of fact, before we went on there, Nick and myself were both saying, hey, to kind of remind you a little bit of Cheyenne South, and we watched South this past weekend over at South High. For the Burns Bronx, does that, again, as being the head coach, does that kind of change your strategy a little bit? Are you more of a up and down type of team defensively? Are you more of a zone type of team? Tell us a little bit how you have to adjust when you're not the biggest team on the floor.
Yeah, and that is interesting because I felt like years prior we did have we had Jackson Kirkbride who was 6'4", and we had some size, and so this year we don't have the size, but we have speed, and we've got some really aggressive kids. So it's changed our philosophy. We're trying to get up into teams early, try and, throw some presses in there. And then, if we're facing a real big guy, we're playing some zone, trying to, just, front and have some backside help a little bit. And so, the philosophy's changed. And then offensively as well, it's like we got to use our speed to our advantage. So if we can get out and run, I think that's where we're at our best is when we can push the ball in transition.
Coach, since this is our first time speaking with you, at least this season, preseason as we were getting ready for the campaign for, again, preseason and conference action as now we're headed towards that here in 2023. But, as we got folks out to the gym, to the weight room, numbers-wise, were we happy what we got out? Did we expect a little bit more? What did we see for those that came out for Burns Bronx basketball this season?
I think we were pretty happy with our senior group, at least. They're a hard-working group of kids that, have put a lot of time in. You've got your Cooper Lakin, who had a phenomenal football year and who's just going to give you all he's got all the time. And, and we got a couple guys that didn't play football, like Angel Chavez, who just lives in the gym. And, Cody Pasetsky is a guy who moved here last year, and he's, been really big for us. But the older guys, we saw a lot of participation, and, we're trying to get the younger guys on board, and hopefully they see, that if you put the time in, you can, there will be improvement. That's what we need.
I'm glad you mentioned both Angel and Cody. Are these your go-to guys? Are these the guys that can put the team on their shoulder, or is it pretty much it's got to be a balanced attack every time they're on the floor?
Yeah, we got to have some balance. Cody and Angel, we're kind of getting to the point where we can expect, around 12 to 15 from each of them. They're, and they're the two shortest guys on the floor, but they each kind of offer something different. Cody Pasetsky's quick and get around guys and get to the rim, and it's really impressive what he's able to do with the ball in his hands. And then, Angel actually he'll work down to the post, and he's 5'5", 5'6", and I think he's a lot of fun to watch with, him being shorter, but then he could post these big guys up and score on them. So, we know what we're going to get from those two for the most part. And then, if the other guys can, we can get another guy in double figures and another guy, 6 to 8 here and there, I think we're going to be pretty successful. But, it's kind of a combination of both.
And you mentioned, too, when Nick talked about numbers, and again, you have the guys that come from the football program. And one of the nice things about your student-athletes, they whatever sport is available, they try to get in as much activity as they can. How did the guys that came from football into the basketball season, again, they get banged up, they're on the field, 9-10 weeks. Did everybody come into the season pretty healthy?
Actually, Cooper Lakin over the summer hurt his knee, played the whole football season, and I believe he was actually the 2A defensive player of the year, and and flying around, but his knee was all banged up, and so he actually had surgery over Christmas break, and so he missed the smackdown up in Tongue River, but it was kind of just a surgery to clean up his knee a little bit, and he actually played. He played last night, and so it was it was good to have him back, but just kind of trying to get his conditioning back and get him back
cool.
Where he needs to be.
Coach, as we get prepared for, again, 2A East Conference, at least action here in the next couple of weeks for the Burns Bronx. Again, you mentioned Pine Bluff's #1 team in Class 2A, again, in your quadrant. Again, games that we will have here live on 1480 K-Radio. We're looking for that Laramie County battle between Pine and Burns on the boys and girls basketball side. But size up Class 2A, East and West. Who are some teams that, again, you have circled on your radar that, again, you're going to either oppose or are going to give you a tough time to get that state tournament? And who do you expect along that way if Burns is to make it to the state tournament, some faces that you could possibly see up there in Casper?
Yeah, so, Pine Bluffs is obviously, they're phenomenal. They've got great kids. They just play, a great style of basketball. Tongue River is great. Bighorn's really good. And then I think, there's a handful of us that are going to be kind of fighting for that third and fourth spot. Right, we beat them this last weekend, but they're a really good team, as well as Lingo. Lingo's much improved. They might be the most improved team from last year to this year. And so, I think it's going to be one of us, and so hopefully we can go beat them. And then on the other side, I think they're kind of similar. They've got a lot of real good teams over there. Wyoming Indian and Grable and some other teams like that are just, they're real solid. So,
Coach, again, we are looking forward to catching up with the Bronx and as well as the Lady Bronxes when they'll match up with the Hornets and Lady Hornets. So we're looking so forward to that. And we will see you down the road here, a couple, 3 weeks. And good luck to you on the conference part of your season.
Thank you so much.
All right, Kurtis Suloff joining us here on 1480 K-Ray. Got to pay some bills. We will come back here in a little bit. I do want to remind you, Nick, before we go to the commercial break, that this program, as we are airing it live right now, will be repeated later on this afternoon, right?
It certainly will be, as, again, K-Ray reports, both pro shows, again, whether it's Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 1, today, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., again, will be replayed, again, on the same day, 4 to 6 p.m. So, again, if you've not been able to tune in to any of our conversation today, again, will be replayed at 4 and 6 o'clock here on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, and 1480kray.com on the audio side. Again, also, too, again, it is live streamed, and, again, it is archived on our YouTube channel, 1480 K-Ray's YouTube channel. Go over there, subscribe, like our video as well, too. We appreciate that. So, again, that is what is upcoming later on today. I do want to mention as well, too, on top of programming notes, 8 to 10 p.m., Golden Age of Radio. Again, we'll be playing here on 1480 K-Ray. Again, All-Star Western Theater, and then Meet the Press interviews as well. So look forward to that. Again, 2 hours of Golden Age of Radio programming here on 1480 K-Ray.
All right, take a quick break, come back with more sports right here on 1480 K-Ray.
The next time you have a craving for authentic Mexican cuisine, visit Hacienda Guadalajara at 317 East Lincoln Way. Locally owned and operated, they serve their dishes with family tried and true recipes, with the freshest of ingredients, made to order. Start off your meal with their complimentary chips, salsa, and bean dip. And if you're feeling adventurous, enjoy your favorite margarita or cerveza. Hacienda Guadalajara, where the spice is always nice.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Up into the K-Ray Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the Golden Age of Radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the Golden Age of Radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 K-Ray, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480kray.com.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Since 1966, Cheyenne and Laramie County has depended on and trusted family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company for all your lumber and hardware needs at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne. Do you like to keep your deposits local while maximizing your returns? Come check out our top-tier CD rates at First Tier Bank, conveniently located on Stillwater Avenue and in the heart of downtown at 18th and Cary. Come join the First Tier family today. Member FDIC.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather happenings on tap for today. Mostly cloudy and breezy. Expect a daytime high near 38. Snow likely throughout the day. Total daytime snow accumulation less than an inch possible. Mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly clear after midnight. Or low down to 23. Sunshine and breezy for tomorrow. We're looking for a daytime high near 43. And for Thursday night, mostly clear. Our low down to 27 degrees. Oh, you welcome me back. Larry gets to play musical chairs here as I get back in front of my laptop and get a chance to talk about some stuff as well. Do want to remind you, wait, let me talk here real quick. Want to remind you tomorrow we will have Hoops, Riverton, and Cheyennes tentatively. Okay, that is tentatively, as I got a note from AD Jerry Schlabsday. If Riverton can't get out, they will move that game back to Friday. So, again, tomorrow we're looking at 6 o'clock for the Lady Thunderbirds and the Lady Wolverines, and then the guys will hit the floor around 7:30, 7:45. So, again, that will be at the Thunderdome. We're going to go right now with, hey, we're going to be tipping off tomorrow over at the Thunderdome. Go ahead.
Keep tuned. Again, I love when you throw a temper tantrum over there. But
again,
either way, again, we will at least tentative for tomorrow's action. Again, we'll keep you updated on the social media side if anything does change. Again, whether it's 1480 K-Ray's Facebook page, the Pro Show's Facebook page, also too over on the YouTube side, we can post things on that side as well too. So again, like and follow our pages, subscribe on the YouTube side. Again, keep up with all the updates. Again, if we know anything, we'll pass it along. But again, as of tomorrow, as of right now, again, with all the snow that is happening, it looks like it should be tapering off here soon. That again, we have basketball as of right now. Again, 6 and 7:30. Cheyennes hosting Riverton over at the Thunderdome. Again, games that we will have live here, 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRay.com on the audio side, and we do live streaming as we do on the 1480 K-Ray YouTube channel. So looking forward to that matchup again, potentially tomorrow. If not, maybe we're scheduled to Friday evening at the similar, at least time frame of 6 and 7:30.
All right, so again, do join us for high school hoops mañana. Let's take a look. Wyoming Cowboys football. Matter of fact, last week, correct me if I'm wrong, we had Kevin McKinney on talking about Cowboy football as well as basketball.
Well,
2 years. No, it was. I was going to say 2 years left on the Craig Bowl contract. He's going to finish him out.
Yeah,
like it or not.
All right. Yeah. Again, and it's kind of interesting as well too. Where granted, when we talked with AD Tom Berman at the time, again, was going to keep an eye on the situation with Craig Bowl. Again, not necessarily said he was on the hot seat, but again, that seat was pretty warm and was going to keep an eye out this season. I think what has benefited Craig Bowl, at least keeping his position as the head coach of the Cowboys. Again, we talked about this last week, but at least a little bit about it. But again, I think what saved him, and Kevin kind of alluded to it, of this team far exceeded expectations, where again, this team was supposed to be dead last in the Mountain West Conference, took advantage of a down conference, got victories, was bowl bound, again, did not win that bowl game down there in Tucson, Arizona, but, again, exceeded expectations. So I think for the athletic department and for Craig Bowl, again, that kind of helps moving on to now 2023, 2024 for the Wyoming Cowboys and him at the helm, that, again, exceeded expectations, where this team was expected to be one of the worst here in the conference.
And statistically wise, they were. I mean, you look at passing.
Offense, that's
what I'm talking about.
Offense, they were bad. Defense was, again, kind of mid-tier.
And again, I'm looking ahead towards next year's schedule. Okay, let's just look at the preseason. You got Texas Tech coming to War Memorial Stadium.
Not beating the Red Raiders, no.
Portland State, you get a
should
down
beat them.
They're going to War Memorial.
You should beat Portland State, as much as Portland State's a talented team out there in the Big Sky. So
we're going to go to Austin, Texas on the 16th. Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, you're not beating Texas.
Then you get Appalachian State, the Mountaineers coming.
I don't think you're beating Appalachian out of the Sun Belt, no.
Interesting.
Appalachian State's really talented. Again, that's a team that moved up from the FCS to the FBS and has had some solid wins. Again, that's a team that's kind of flirted around being in that top 25 for, again, since its exception being into the FBS level, again, part of the mid-major conferences. But, again, yeah, I think you look non-conference as of right now, those are four potentially.
You're looking at 1 and 3.
I just think you could flirt with going 0-4. Because, again, don't overlook Portland State. Again, we'll look at the past track record outside of, again, this year's contest with UNC. Northern Colorado's awful in the Big Sky. But, again, look at close contests with Idaho. I think it could be a close contest with Portland State as well, too. Again, don't overlook at least that team. Again, they've had some good years of recent down there in the Big Sky Conference.
Then you look at what you have for conferences next year. You'll be at Air Force. You'll be at Boise State. You'll have the Rams in Laramie. You'll have the Lobos in Laramie. You will go to Reno to take on the Wolfpack. And correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm just trying to get this punched up. You got Fresno State at home, and you got Hawaii at home. So you got a very generous home schedule next season for the Cowboys. And again, just running through those numbers right there, Nick, again, I don't expect Reno to be any better. Do I see?
Yeah, but Reno is that team that can shock you, can pick up those victories.
Yeah, I think they're 2 down.
You say that again; they did that this season. So
again, you get Hawaii off the islands; they're beatable. You get Nevada at Nevada. Can you beat the Lobos again? Yeah, very well. Can you beat the Rams? Are going to be down for.
Who knows? Again, Rams right now seem like they're going heavy on at least recruiting and. And again, it seems like that with year in and year out with the Rams that, keep an eye out for this team. You have to stop and pause again because at least this season now, at least according to experts around at least CSU football program, that, hey, they got some potential high school and some good talent a part of this recruiting class. We shall see with the Rams. Again, obviously those games, as I've alluded to, and it happened this season as well, too, down there at Canvas, it's going to be a close game no matter what.
And going, judging by what I saw this year, what is coming back, where the Cowboys are very deficient. I look at a possibility of a 4-3 season on the conference side, maybe 2-2 on the preseason. Guess what? Gives you 6 wins. Guess what? Get a bowl.
Again.
Guess what? Going to go to another crappy bowl again. Sorry. If you think the famous Potato Bowl is a great bowl, you think that the Arizona Bowl is a great bowl, yeah, it's warmer in Tucson than it is in Cheyenne and Laramie. But, again, mediocrity. Mediocrity all the way through. And again, I'm glad that Texas Tech is on the schedule. I'm glad the University of Texas is on the schedule.
Oh, because Wyoming's getting paid.
But you know what, though? You got to get your clock cleaned.
Yeah, plain and simple. Even with Texas, at least Texas going up and down in recent football years, they got a lot of issues. But again, still respect that they're a Big 12 school, that they got a lot of 4-star, 5-star, 3-star recruits that are, again, talent-wise a little bit better than what we got over in Laramie, Wyoming. But for the Wyoming Cowboys, yeah, I look at that schedule, and again, you read it off. It's a team that could finish 500, could finish below 500 without a doubt. Is it the team that, again, you look at that schedule, should be competing for a Mountain West Conference championship? Probably not. And again, yes, it would potentially be another mediocre year where, and again, we spoke a little bit with Kevin about that, where he understands the frustration, and you got to imagine that the athletic department probably understands a lot of frustration from a few Cowboy fans. Not saying it's the majority, but again, a few spoken voices out there, again, social media or again, talking heads, whatever it may be. But, the mediocrity is just more so of, cool, we've gotten to the point where, yeah, we can make it bowl bound, but we want more. Why can't, again, I've stressed this how many years at this point where, again, why can't the Cowboys be in that conversation with Boise State here in Indiana as a Mountain West Conference championship contender? Why can't this team look at outside bowls that are not Arizona, the Potato Bowl? Why can't we be considered for Frisco or some of these more entertaining, bigger bowls with bigger opponents? And again, nothing against the MAC, but again, it's the MAC. It's a mid-major. When Air Force is taking on Baylor, when again we're seeing other Mountain West Conference teams take on Pac-12, Big 12, ACC, Big Ten schools.
And we're taking on Hammond Acres.
Yeah, and again, no disrespect to Ohio. Again,
No,
Ohio beat us.
No.
But either way, though, again, it's something that our focus, I think, for the Cowboys, and again, I think it all stems from the situation that's happening in college football where, again, we're seeing the conference realignments. Again, we know we have defectors a part of this conference already that the Cowboys got to look towards the future. All right, we've established a winning nature. You got to establish a little bit more now. Fans, and I think plain and simple, again, what we're seeing, again, from us and from other outcries is that we want more out of this program.
Right.
That I think for Cowboy fans deserve a little bit more out of this program. And again, I think it starts, kind of at the bare minimum, at the ground level of getting a Mountain West Conference championship. That Craig Bohl said day one, coming in, presser saying, hey, this is what I aim to do. Still has not done it.
No, and won't. He won't do it. In the 2 years left on his contract, not going to do it. Here's the deal, and you said it right out of the box. Offense for the Cowboys. Whether Andrew Peasley is a quarterback next year or not, and Peasley threw for about 1,500 yards this season, was injured as well.
Cowboys did get, speaking of the offense, transfer in of a talented wide receiver that, again, they're at least wide receivers where we said, hey, wide receivers kind of avoid Wyoming like the plague. And again, they should, as again, this offense.
You never get the ball to them.
The offense still, again, it's been this trend outside of the Josh Allen years that, again, this offense has been near dead last in the FBS level. Again, that includes all Power Fives and mid-majors, that this offense has been one of the worst consistent.
But also, too, I think in the Craig Bohl scheme, again, they messed around with RPO. Then, again, you had the likes of Valladay and Titus Swim where, again, they're rushing for 1,000 yards. But the thing is, with the Cowboys,
it's an offense that relies too heavy on the run.
It does not have an identity.
It's predictable. It's a predictable offense where, again, either again, if you're a defensive coordinator opposing the Wyoming Cowboys, you pretty much go, hey, it's a run, but which side of the field?
And they dare you, and that's what they want to do. They got to stop the run. If you can stop, and obviously Titus Swim will not be back, but you stop him. You want the Cowboys to throw the football, because again, they don't have the quality arms. That's the problem. I would think,
I think they, again, I think since Josh Allen, again, Cowboys have had quality arms. They have the talent. I think so. And again, even with Sean Chambers to now with Peasley, with whoever's at the helm, I think they have the talent. They have the capability. I think, again, it's just the offensive play scheme is just handcuffing them.
I think they haven't had the quality arms. And again, Peasley, you can give him another year at the quarterback position. He's not going to, he's had 1,574 yards this year. If he breaks 2,000 next year, I'm going to be shocked because the Cowboys are going to run pretty much the same drill. What you're going to depend on the Wyoming Cowboys is that defense.
Defense that kept them in these contests without a doubt. Again, got them a lot of victories this season. Plain and simple, absolutely. Again, the hats off to the defense that, again, has been solid. If that's the one positive for Craig Bohl, has been that defense has been solid for a long time and has kept them in ball games. If that defense takes a downturn, which I don't think it will next season, but if it does, Cowboys, then you kind of go and look at that schedule and go, ooh, where are we winning? And this might be an ugly season.
See, here's the deal. Next season, you get Texas Tech coming to the war, okay? You got the sign, welcome to 72-20. It's September. It's going to be warm. It's nice in Laramie.
Yeah.
The altitude is not even going to play an effect.
Essentially, what's going to happen is similar.
You're going to get blasted.
But it's going to be similar of, again, when Texas came to town a couple of years ago, where, again, Nebraska, some of these big names, you might have a slow start, or at least they might have a slow start getting adjusted to the elements and to the elevation in Laramie. But once they get used to it, again, we saw it with Texas. We saw it with Nebraska. You saw it with a few teams, again, that come out of that Power 5 conferences that give them about a quarter or two, get them adjusted. Then they turn on the afterburners, and it hits all, again, the opposing team against the Cowboys.
And I hate to say this, too, but, again, the mentality state, you're playing Wyoming. Okay? So, you're kind of already looking ahead towards next week. Yeah. And I don't mean that in disrespect. Same thing with Texas, the University of Texas, and you got Wyoming coming down to Austin. Do you not think you're looking at your next game on the schedule? Hey, we're going to dust these guys real quick, and let's get ready for next week.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So, again, I look at those two games right there. And again, Texas is starting to come back with their program. The Red Raiders have been fair, but again, look at the quality of ball they play as opposed to the quality of football we're playing.
Yeah, where, again, they're going to air it out. They're going to bomb it deep and, again, challenge that defense without a doubt. So, like I said, again, we talk about non-conference, whether home or the road. I think Cowboys at best 2-2. Realistically, I think they could go 1-3. And there's a possibility outside, again, you look at the Portland State contest, they could go 0-4.
No, I think they're going to be 2-2. It's just the way things will pan out. What they'll do with Portland State, like they do with any other of the smaller schools,
just saying,
they barely escape with a win.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that could be a possibility that it's going to be a close contest because, again, for whatever reason, when it comes to a Big Sky school, Cowboys just kind of fold up and again kind of play down to their opponent.
And I think with Appalachian State, it's just that long travel. You're going from one side of the
Mountaineers
country.
are way better. Well, I think talent. Again, they've proven it over the past couple seasons that again they're a better. They're a better outfit.
You stay with 1-3. I'll go with 2-2. And then again, you go to the conference.
Still, though, again, this is something
above.
where again conversations. Where again. Let's bring in Boise to the world. We'll bring in Fresno, San Diego State, some of these teams that are really establishing and becoming a winner nature here in the West, at least in the Mountain West Conference. Again, how many of those talking heads out there kind of look at their non-conference and go, hey, there's a realistic expectation of going 4-0, 3-0, undefeated in our non-conference schedule. Cowboys, again, it's tough. And again, you would love to be at that point, and maybe within our lifetime, Cowboys can figure it out. And that again, that administrative staff, again, part of the athletic department, head coach, whether it is Craig Bull or whoever at the helm in the distant future, could get to this Cowboys program to the point where when we have a Texas Tech or a Texas on the schedule, who are again not powerhouses in the Power 5, but again still solid teams, it's gonna be interesting if we could ever get to that point of, we can beat Texas Tech at home. Well, we can beat Texas on the road. We have a shot. Where right now it's pretty much of X out Texas Tech, X out Texas. You don't have a shot. We now look at mid-major win against a Sun Belt team, and again you look at a Big Sky FCS opponent to at least garner your victories to bolster and potentially add to your win-loss mark to get bowl bound again.
Well, again, in the case of Craig Bull, who's out there to replace him? Who's better than Craig Bull? And again,
I think there's a good handful. Of
I understand, but there's not offensive coordinators and there's not head coaches. I don't know right now who's out there. Do I feel that the university just doesn't want to buy out the contract? Yeah, I feel that way right now. They don't want to buy him out. And again, who's better out there? But and again, it goes back to what I've said not once, not twice, but many times. You want a mediocre team, and again. It's a good schedule. I like next year's schedule. But again, and this is no reflection on the young men that come to play. But again, it's the system. I think the system sucks. It's a 500 system at best. You can plug in anybody, and they're going to do, again, look at all the running backs have had success at UW.
No.
Okay? It's a good system if you're a running back. If you're
you're getting a lot of touches of football.
If
again,
you're
a
wide receiver, you're going to be out, running routes and not seeing the football come to you or short or overthrown. So the thing is, the system is broken. Craig Bull does not want to fix it. He patches it. That's all he does.
Again, I think for the Wyoming Cowboys, again, we're seeing it with a couple of fans online, again, with us as well too, where again. Cowboys have gotten to that winning nature. Hey, congrats. Again, compared to where it was in years past, again, it was kind of bleak and dire. Now those days are kind of behind us where you kind of establish some sort of win mark. And again, we look at the bowls that we're going to, again, been very critical of the bowl system here in the FBS level where, again, it is way too many. Way too just oversaturated with teams being moved on to at least play postseason play. I get it. But again, it's way too much at this point where, again, you're handing teams like Wyoming and, again, a few others that probably didn't deserve it compared to, at least to most. But either way, you're in that winning nature. You're postseason bound kind of on a consistent basis. You're hitting about that 500 mark, even though Craig Bull, both overall and Mountain West Conference, is still sub 500. But again, that winning nature has been established. Why not? I think we're at that point where, again, we're ready to take it to the next level. And again, I think that next level is to look up to who has been the top team in this conference of Boise State. Or now as Fresno State's kind of getting there. As San Diego State's kind of getting into the conversation of consistently being in that conversation for Mountain West Conference champions to be that top dog
and think
team.
about Boise being down this year. And they still were competitive. Being down.
Still lost the championship, but again, give credit
I understand,
to
but they were
really down and injured, yeah.
And they had problems in the early part of the season, and they figured it out. So, again,
I think, again, that is just kind of the main crux of our ongoing conversation with Craig Bull. And, again, and it's nothing personal against the guy. It's just more so of his body of work where, again, cool, you got us that stepping ladder of into a winning nature, but you've kind of shown that you can't take us to the next level of that rung of the ladder, that we need to find someone else that's going to take us above and beyond and now establish that, all right, we're competitive for championships, and we're going to bigger bowls, and we can get respect across the nation from Power 5 teams. And, again, we have legitimate shots of taking on Power 5s and winning.
Instead of 6, 7, 8 win seasons, try to get us 10.
Yeah.
Make us significant, make us relevant. And that's just it. Again, everybody that went to Tucson, they had a great time in Tucson. The bowl game, to be real honest, the bowl game was secondary, Nick. And again, the payout to the University of Wyoming, to me, you lost money. Again,
on a fan aspect, do most fans care that, again, the athletic department is losing money off of going to those bowl? No, it's, hey, we're going bowl bound, and we have, again, it's postseason and it's somewhere else outside of, again, Laramie or Cheyenne, Wyoming. So, again, I don't think the money concern is really all on the at least mind of the fans. It's pretty much of, hey, we're going somewhere else, we're going postseason bound, and hopefully we take down this Ohio team, which, again, still can't get done. I think it's just for me growing issues of, again, you're finishing above 500, you're going to kind of mid-major bowls, and you're also losing to these mid-major teams that, again, in all respect, again, nothing against the Bobcats, but we look back to their schedule, they have 3 quality wins against teams that finished out their season just above 500, just barely above.
I think back into the 90s when we were griping about going back to the Copper Bowl. And guess where the Copper Bowl was at? In Tucson, okay? So we went one time. That was great. Then we went again. I think we lost to Cal in a close one, and then I think we lost to K-State. So, everybody's like, oh, we're going back to the Copper Bowl. Think about in the last 3 years where we've been at, Nick. Tucson, famous Potato Bowl, Tucson. We've been, again, where's the change? Again, it's kind of like our standings. We're mediocre. We keep going to...
You talk about the 90s as well, too, compared to where we are here in the 2020s, where, again, there weren't as many bowl game opportunities back in the day.
And you got rewarded. You got rewarded for a good season.
Again, it's pretty much where, in this day and age, it's, hey, you made an effort. Here you go. Congrats. Here's your postseason award for at least making that minimum 6.
And the reward for this year was a reflection on your standings.
Yeah, again, it's something that for the Cowboys, you got above that 6-win mark. You were postseason eligible. It's not guaranteed. I think you got to make note of that again. It's not guaranteed, but when you have, what is it? Last check was 86 teams out of 130, 120 plus. So you're telling me 40 plus teams don't make it postseason, but again, about well over half, if not 2/3 of the field goes postseason bowling. Again, it's oversaturated where in years past, again, go back to the 90s. And again, obviously that comes with economics, that comes with growth, that comes with sponsors, blah, blah, blah. But still, though, you want to compare decades to then and now. Cowboys of now wouldn't be in the postseason back then just off of their mark. So maybe that also, too, is kind of altering the eyes or at least the minds of fans, especially here in the state of, okay, we're going postseason bound, but again, look at the quality. Look at who you're playing. Look at where, again, the situation is in college football of that pretty much everyone gets a postseason opportunity.
We got to wrap things up here, but the one bowl that you mentioned, and again, I'm looking for that respect bowl, okay? Sorry, Arizona Bowl, no respect.
Which was that Poinsettia Bowl that lost to BYU.
No. Actually, you said it in the opening get-go. The Frisco Bowl. Again, it's in Texas. It's a high caliber type of bowl. It's a 7-figure bowl.
Yeah. High caliber for mid-major, we'll say that.
Yeah, but again, it's
nothing compared to what Boise was able, or TCU of the Fiesta Bowl.
I mean, again, let's be real honest, gang. You know, you want to go to Arizona, great, Tucson. We're going to go to the Arizona Bowl. You want to go to, back in the day, New Mexico Bowl. You want to go to Albuquerque. Hey, great, terrific. You want to go to Boise. Hey, great, terrific. Again, but you want to go somewhere where it's significant.
Which, again, I wouldn't even consider the Frisco Bowl, but, again, at least you're taking on Power 5s in those bowl games. But, again, you look to TCU, you look to Utah, you look to, again, with BYU, you look to with Boise State. Again, all those, when they were part of this conference, went to pristine BCS at the time, BCS Bowls of the Fiesta. Competed on a big level. Again, I'm just saying, those programs, when they were a part of this conference, made that statement, we're on the landscape of the U.S. of, hey, look at us as a mid-major, we're here.
All right, well, the guy that's running the show, okay, and it's not the greatest show on earth. He's had many, many, many years of running this program, and it's not going anywhere. So how much longer? So if we're just going to let we're going to let the contract run out. Great,
you have a good sample size of what to expect out of Craig Bowl, and it's 500 ball.
Yeah, there you go. He's made that jump from the lower to the upper, and it has not been good for him. All right, we are going to wrap things up here for today. We'll be back at it Monday with K-Radio Reports, a weekend review. No, that's right. It's a holiday on Monday. Again, we encourage you to enjoy the Martin Luther King Jr. birthday holiday. We'll be back Tuesday with the Pro Show, so do join Nick and myself coming up on Tuesday morning here on 1480 K-Radio. With that being said, for Nick Proietti, I'm Larry Proietti, and we return to regular programming.